I finish you, little man.
Get your ass from here.
I finish you.
Ilia's just said in the cage there, he's gonna submit me. Won't do that. He said it because he knows he can't knock me out. I will put that little bit in his place. Get it booked.
That's the fight that I want. Because with Charles, I had a little bit difficult situation because I really like the guy, you know? He's a really great human being. You can hate him.
Look at me. Look at me.
That was a heavy knockout. I'll give you that respect. But you will never knock me out.
I'm going to submit you.
UFC 317 saw a decisive Ilia Topuria win, but Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia has once again grabbed everyone's attention. Inside the ring, both competitors were having a heated fight. After Ilia's victory at UFC 317, Paddy Pimblett entered the ring, and the two competitors had a short, passionate argument. They both made fun of one another and dared each other to a fight.
Well done, lad.
Look at me. Look at me.
That was a heavy knockout. I'll give you that respect. But you will never knock me out.
I'm going
You
to submit
cannot
you.
knock me
You
out.
live.
That-
What I'm going to
you
do is
know you can't knock me out.
I'm going to put my
You
balls in
know
your
you
forehead.
can't knock me out. You
Yeah,
know I
listen.
don't get knocked out.
During their furious argument, Ilia Topuria aggressively pushed Paddy.
Finish you, little
Get
man.
your ass from here.
I finish
Get
you.
Paddy Pimblett was unimpressed with Ilia and stated that he despises him. He thinks their battle does not require any promotion because it sells itself to individuals who genuinely despise each other, which he says has not been seen since Khabib and McGregor. Paddy claims he does not plan to finish Ilia fast. Rather, he wants to draw it out, elbow him hundreds of times, and leave him maimed in the end. Paddy also discussed the moment Ilia touched him, saying Ilia merely gave him a small shove and felt weak. Paddy thought Ilia looked smaller than him and was unimpressed with his strength.
For history, you don't even need to sell that fight, it sells itself. Two people who genuinely dislike each other. You don't really get that. We haven't seen that since Khabib and McGregor, right? Two people who actually hate each other, because I hate him. I wouldn't even want to finish him fast. I'd want to finish him with a minute left in the fight after I've elbowed him 700 times. You know what I mean? I'd want to disfigure him.
When he touched you, could you tell anything in that moment? Did you feel his strength? Was there anything when he actually made contact
He
with
didn't
you?
get a big push, he only done a little one, but he feels weak. You know what I mean? And as I say, he's there.
He was smaller than you,
Small.
meaningfully. What do you weigh right now?
About 195.
You look good.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria mentioned that the next bout he wants is against Paddy Pimblett. He admits that facing Charles Oliveira was tough because he admires and appreciates Charles as a person who is always present for his family, friends, and teammates. Ilia thought he had to treat the bout as pure competition and complete his job, while Paddy thinks very differently. He says he will thoroughly enjoy kicking Paddy's ass and looks forward to that bout more than any other.
But Paddy Pimblett did come in the cage tonight. Y'all had a little fun. But, there's Armin Sarukin, there's Justin Gaethje. Is that the fight that you want more than anything else?
Yes, that's the fight that I want. Because with Charles, I had a little bit difficult situation because I really like the guy, you know? He's a really great human being. You can hate him. You always see him surrounded by his family, friends, teammates. He's an amazing human being. But at the end, I was like, this is competition. I have to do my job, and that's it. But with Paddy, I'm really gonna enjoy it.
Paddy Pimblett thinks the bout against Ilia Topuria does not require any promotion because it sells itself. He says they have a real history and truly despise each other, much like Khabib and McGregor did. Paddy reveals he despises Topuria and does not want to finish him quickly. Instead, he wants to injure him for virtually the entire fight, land numerous elbows, and make him appear different at the end.
History, you know what I mean? You don't even need to sell that fight, it sells itself. Two people who genuinely dislike each other. You don't really get that. We haven't seen that since Khabib and McGregor, right? Two people who actually hate each other, because I hate him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even want to finish him fast. I'd want to finish him with a minute left in the fight after I've elbowed him 700 times.
Dana White, on the other hand, was not happy with Paddy Pimblett's appearance in the cage following Ilia Topuria's battle. He said he had no idea who let Paddy in, and that it should never have happened. Dana said that he had already returned to his room and that his presence would not have been allowed. He also mentioned that he wasn't thinking about potential opponents that night and didn't want to make any hurried decisions. Dana mentioned that they will see how things work out.
After the fight, he called in Paddy Pimblett and brought him into the cage, and they had to face off. Obviously, they've got a long history together. I know there's a lot of options on the table for Ilia, but when he shows that type of interest in a fight, does that make you want to make it?
Well, I don't know who the hell let him in there. That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room, or that would have never happened. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't really think about that stuff tonight, other than, obviously the van fight. But, we'll see. We'll see how this.
Dana White also voiced his thoughts on Paddy Pimblett entering the cage during Ilia Topuria's fight. He said that Ilia's wife and child were in the octagon, and that the moment was not meant for a fight. Dana confessed that it was entertaining to see, but it shouldn't have happened and isn't something they usually do. He also stated that Ilia had recently won a second title in a higher level, which was a great event for him. Dana considered it a poor judgment by whoever permitted Paddy to enter the cage.
Ilia, with Topuria is his wife and kid are in the octagon. That's not the fight that it's just, yeah.
It was fun to watch.
It shouldn't happen.
It was fun to watch.
Well, that's not really what we do. Give a shit if it was fun to watch or not. It's just that shouldn't happen. Plus, he wins a second title in a higher division. It was a bad call by whoever the hell let him in there.
Ilia Topuria also reacted to Dana White's remarks.
And from my team told me that Dana was a little bit angry about that.
He said that if he was there, he would not have let that happen.
Yeah, but he wasn't there.
After a dominating win over Charles Oliveira, Ilia Topuria feels he is the world's best fighter and confronts those who doubt him. Following his victory against Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, he reveals that it is tough to put into words what it means to defeat top competitors, such as Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. Ilia thinks he has already earned the belt via his training, since he understands how hard he works and what he can do in sparring and practice. He claims that no one can equal his skills inside the octagon, and even if he looks arrogant or people believe he is insane, he continues to prove that he is the best fighter in the world.
It's difficult to explain with the simple words, like beat guys like Walt, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. Not many people in the world can say that. I just came to collect my belt. I already won it in the training sessions. I know how hard I work. I know what I'm able to do in the sparring sessions and the training sessions. I know how good I am. I know that no one can match my level of skills inside the octagon. And when I say this, maybe I sound a little bit cocky. You guys think that I'm crazy, but I used to prove it, that I'm the best fighter.
Furthermore, Ilia Topuria stated that his hunger isn't ended, admitting that he wants another belt. He hinted of moving up to welterweight to win his third title. In contrast, Ilia Topuria has stated clearly that he does not want to be compared to Paddy Pimblett. Referring to their past rivalry, Topuria flatly dismissed any connection, calling Paddy a bum and saying he isn't even in the same category. Ilia sees an obvious disparity in ability and level, and he has no interest in masquerading as if they are near.
I remember even you were beefing with Paddy the Batty. You guys used to have that beef, and now it's crazy. I'm not trying to shit on him, but it's crazy how much of a gap there is now between stardom.
His hype was momentáneo. In the moment he has a lot of hype, this and that, but the quality of the fighter he is, come on, please. Don't even compare me to that boom, because we are on different levels and everyone can see that.
Meanwhile, Dana White congratulated Ilia Topuria on his win and referred to him as a star. He claimed Ilia delivered on his promise and shown that he is a complete fighter. With great hitting, grappling, and ground game, Dana thinks Ilia is the type of competitor who may seriously challenge Islam Makhachev for the pound-for-pound title. He commended Ilia saying, "Yeah, this kid's a superstar."
He gives Islam a run for the money is pound for pound right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, he did exactly what he said he's going to do. He is an absolute complete fighter. You know, stand up is beautiful, ground, grappling, everything. Yeah, this kid's a...
Dana White was asked if Ilia Topuria, who has knocked out Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira, is the most powerful pound-for-pound fighter in UFC history. Dana hailed Ilia for his incredible 3-fight winning streak and referred to all 3 fighters as legends. He stated that he does not know where Ilia ranks in terms of power, but moving up a weight class and ending fights in the first round in the way that Ilia did is highly outstanding.
Knocks out Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira, you know, 3 amazing fighters in a row. Is he the hardest hitter pound for pound that the UFC has ever had?
He's on a great 3-fight win streak for sure. You know, all legends that he knocked out. I don't know. I don't know where he sits pound for pound punching power, but, you know, moving up a weight class like that and doing what you say you're going to do in the first round and the way he did it is very important.
Dana White thinks Ilia Topuria has the potential to be a superstar like Ronda Rousey, George St. Pierre, or Conor McGregor. He stated unequivocally that there is no question about it, describing the intensity in the arena as a real major fight atmosphere. Dana mentioned that it's very amazing when a fighter announces exactly what he's going to do and then follows through, especially against a tough opponent like Charles Oliveira.
I had said the other day if he won this fight that he might turn into a star of the caliber of a Ronda or a George St. Pierre or a Conor or somebody like that, with the look he has, the way he talks, and then of course the way he fights. Given the way this ended tonight against a fighter like Oliveira, do you think that he has the ability to take it to that kind of level?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You obviously felt the energy in the building tonight. It was a big fight, and you know, again, to go in and say exactly what you're going to do and then do it in the way that he did it is impressive.
Earlier, Brendan Schaub praised Ilia Topuria for his strength and dominance at featherweight, saying that he can also stay healthy and powerful at lightweight. He stated that Charles Oliveira was a real featherweight who switched to lightweight because he was getting smashed up at 145. Brendan thinks Ilia would beat a powerful for Charles, who is older and gets pummeled in every bout, even if he wins. He thinks Ilia is the type of fighter you can't afford to get hit by because if he lands, it may be the end.
Charles is actually a true 45er who was getting kind of beat up at 45 and had to go to 55.
Yeah.
But y'all must have forgot. Now, one of the greatest lightweights to do it, but the reason he ventured over to lightweight, he was getting beat the f up at 45.
Yeah.
Ilia dominated at 45. I would argue now he's not compromised at 45 and he can hydrate and be healthy at 55. Buddy, the fucking fury he's going to unleash on Charles, which Charles, again, one of the greatest to ever do it, older, and also gets hit in every single fight. Even the ones he wins, he gets hit, he gets in trouble. I just feel like Ilia's a guy where he's going to land. Guaranteed Ilia lands.
And you can't get hit by him.
Arman Tsarukyan, on the other hand, responded to Ilia Topuria's victory by saying Charles Oliveira was never meant to be the true test. He thinks he can easily defeat Ilia and believes Ilia is aware of this as well. Arman responded, "This is why Ilia is avoiding him, the true top contender." Arman Tsarukyan remarked that it was never meant to be Charles. "I can end Ilia, and he knows it. That is why he is ignoring the real #1 competitor." However, Ilia Topuria thinks Arman Tsarukyan was afraid after seeing him knock out Charles Oliveira. He believes Arman was pleased he did not have to step in as a replacement since he realized he could have been the one to finish instead.
Arman también, que no, pues obviamente se le veía, pues...
Se le veía cagado también. Se le veía una cara de shock cuando vio el knockout. Dijo, ¡buah! Yo iba a ser el reemplazo de este combate. Menos mal que Dios bendiga a Charles, que no le haya pasado nada, porque este iba a ser yo. Él siempre da el peso cuando sabe que no va a pelear. Siempre da el peso. Cuando él sabe que le va a tocar pelear, ahí ya da el peso y es, uy, mi espalda.
Demetrius Johnson blasted the UFC for not giving Arman Tsarukyan his next title shot. He stated that this is why he calls it a reality TV show. In his view, Arman is definitely the actual #1 contender. But the UFC is pushing for a bout between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria instead because it will sell more tickets.
Don't give it to Justin Gaethje. Give it to Arman Tsarukyan.
Who?
Give it to Arman Tsarukyan.
This guy?
No, not Paddy. That's the right... It needs to be him. Armin Sarukian. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why I say it's a reality TV show. It's like, obviously, Armin Sarukian is the #1 contender. He's ranked #1, whatever you guys want to, go by the rankings. But they're forcing this fight with Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria just because it's probably going to sell more. But I think the rightful person who should be getting the next title shot at lightweight is Armin.
Meanwhile, Dana White was pleased with Armin Sarukian. He stated Armin proved himself by making weight as the backup fighter, which was a good choice. However, Dana made it clear that Armin will not be fighting for the championship next. He thought it a good step forward, but not quite enough for a title shot.
But he proved, now that he's not fighting for the title, he was here as a backup fighter. He made weight, so it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Dana White, on the other hand, stated clearly that Armin Sarukian will not be fighting for the title again. He claimed Armin weighing in as a backup at 155 pounds was a solid step in the right way, but it does not promise he would fight for the title.
And he weighed in as a backup fighter. He weighed in successfully at 155 pounds. So with that being said, is it safe to say that he will now fight for the title next?
No, it's a good step in the right direction. Let's put it that way.
Dana White also claimed that Armin has no previous injuries and had to withdraw from UFC 311 due to weight problems. He believes Armin had the chance, and now he must earn it back.
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. It's just, you couldn't fuck up anything worse than that.
Ilia Topuria also thinks Armin Sarukian needs to work his way back into the title picture. He stated that Armin had previously been in contention for the title, but withdrew for mysterious reasons. According to Ilia, Armin needs another major win to show himself and become a real contender for the championship.
Maybe a guy like Armin Sarukian. I know we'll focus on Charles Oliveira, and maybe see a guy that came as a future opponent, maybe next one for Charles.
Armin, he needs to win also a fight. He had his opportunity to fight for the title. He pulled out for, I don't know for what reasons. So he needs to put his name again in the conversation.
So UFC 317 was a fantastic night for Ilia Topuria, showing once again that he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the world. But after the fight, all eyes were on his intense rivalry with Paddy Pimblett, which promises to be one of the biggest and most personal showdowns in UFC history. With emotions running high and both men prepared for war, the build-up to this potential showdown is barely starting.